All right. Well, thank you so much, Doc, for being with us tonight. We are hosting a 1-hour Ask Me Anything session. This will give everyone the opportunity to post questions to you about your experience with Aspen, your experience transitioning from student to dentist, and now your experience transitioning from associate to MCD, which is very exciting. Again, congratulations. So I'm going to introduce myself, and then I'll let you introduce yourself. I want you to tell us your name, where school you went to, where you're working, and maybe a fun fact, okay? And then we'll start with the questions. So for those of you that have jumped on, hello, my name is Rebecca Mazer. I am the Senior Manager for the Academic and Relations team here with Aspen Dental Management. Aspen Dental Management is a DSO, so we are the dental service organization that supports our dentists. We have over 800 offices. We're actually pushing close to 900. And we support all of our clinicians. So we do basically everything that's not the clinical work. So we help support doctors like our Dr. Khadija here. And we do the payroll, and we do the ordering, and we do the hiring, and we help support and facilitate all of that good stuff. That way our doctors can focus on clinical work. So we have a special guest with us here today, Dr. Khadija. If you want to introduce yourself, give us a little synopsis, and then we'll get started on some of these questions, okay?
Okay, all right. Hello, everybody. I am Dr. Khadija Suleimanji. I am a graduate of UIC. I was actually in the advanced dental class, so I was, in the international dental program. Originally, I'm from Pakistan. I was a dentist there. Then I started school in 2017 and graduated 2019, and right away I started with Aspen, and I'm now with Aspen for over a year. I just had my first Aspen anniversary in July, so that was a very
congratulations.
Thank you. And so that has been my experience with Aspen so far. So I never really started with any other place or like a smaller practice or anything like that. It was directly through Aspen, and I'm over a year in the same practice, so that tells a lot that I'm happy where I am, and I'm doing good. So that's what it is. The practice that I'm at is in Skokie. The owner that owns that practice is actually, they're opening a second office right now. It's our sister office in Morton Grove. So that's another one. So I'm going to be the lead dentist over there, and we're opening pretty soon. So that has been my journey so far with Aspen. So,
Khadija, that's awesome. I had no idea Dr. Sharma was getting a second office.
She is.
That's very exciting.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. So really quick, you are an associate dentist for Dr. Sharma's office. She's the owner, the POP. And you said you are going to be getting promoted to the managing clinical director role.
That is correct.
Awesome. So tell me a little bit about that role.
Okay, so MCD is pretty much like, you still do not wear your management hat, because Aspen has a great team, like a support team that we have office managers and assistant office managers and stuff like that. So consult and numbers and all that stuff is something they do. But in terms of MCD, it's like you're basically like a mentor. So it is something more of like, you can have your associates too at some point. So you are responsible to, sort of train them. You train nobody dentistry, because everybody goes to school for that. But it's more of like, being the leader of the practice and making sure that everything is good. The flow of the office is good, and scheduling is good, and how you like it and stuff like that. So it is a little bit of more responsibility, but it is definitely a great role to have.
Awesome. So just so I understand, the managing clinical director is basically the lead of the office.
That is correct.
You are taking on a lot more responsibility. You are leading the office, and you are a mentor a lot too with a lot of the associates that come in.
That is correct.
Okay, awesome. So we have a question that just populated here. Now, Doc, do you want me to call you Khadija or Dr. Suleimanji? I know the girls at the office
Yeah, they call me Doctor. They call me Dr. K, but we're like starting to call me Dr. Sulemanji. But whatever you want.
What do you prefer? Because I know that the girls call you Dr. K. So what do you prefer?
They do call me Dr. That is fine.
Okay. We'll go with Dr. K. Perfect. Now, Dr. K, I do have quite a few questions that have been submitted prior, but one just popped up. So they're asking, how can a dentist become an Aspen practice owner? So do you want to answer that?
Yeah, sure. And maybe you can help me answer that after I am done too. Mm-hmm. So definitely ownership is something that Aspen always offers. And there's always, like Rebecca mentioned, they started, obviously, it's not a very old company, but now we're pushing to 900 offices. There's always demand, there's always something. And the great thing about it is that there's a whole team to look into where is the demand and where, so they keep opening new offices and there's always more opportunity for ownership. But there is like a whole hierarchy. So you got to start with company as associate, and then eventually when you're good and you're fit for the lead role, they make you MCD. A lot of times you have enough qualities to be MCD right away. So that's where you start. And once there are a lot of programs and training programs at, learning and development as a whole team that they train you for it and stuff like that. So you always get opportunity based on definitely your skill set, how good you are, how well your performance is. And somebody approaches you, you can always, approach other people. There's a big sort of like, team that you can say that. So if you show interest in ownership, there's always people based on the opportunities that are there. Based on that, you always, there's always a chance.
Absolutely. So that is a great question. And that's a question we always get from a lot of our, our dental students is, how do you become an owner? So you are absolutely right, Dr. K. We have a tremendous career development opportunity with Aspen. So a lot of our younger new grads come in as an associate, and that gives you the opportunity to train, get your hand skills up, really, learn your craft. And if you love what you do, you have leadership capability, then you can jump in that role of the MCD, which Dr. K has now taken over, where you are now leading an office. So that's a lead dentist opportunity. Now, if you are in that role and you love it and you are in a great place and you're thinking Aspen is, the place where I want to have a career and move forward with that, we have the option for ownership. So ownership is at that point a commitment where it's a partnership between Aspen Dental Management and our doctors. And it's definitely an opportunity for you to own your own practice. We have like Dr. Sharma, she has one office in Skokie, she's opening a second. So ownership is definitely a good opportunity, but it does take time because all of our offices are built from the ground up. We don't acquire any offices. So we do have a whole team that's dedicated, to working with you and figuring out real estate and locations. If you are interested in becoming a practice owner down the road, but it's definitely a path that you would have to take. So the opportunity is there. The opportunity is endless for those of you that are interested. So let's jump in, Dr. K. So one of the questions that was posed today is, so why did you choose Aspen Dental?
Oh, that's a great question. I will start by, when you are a new graduate especially, or even looking for new opportunities, I've actually contacted a lot of my peers or the people that were like the cohort before me, the ones that were graduated a year ago. When I was looking for opportunities, they were they started at private practices, and I saw some of the very strong students actually trying to get recruited or trying to find position towards Aspen and stuff. So that made me wonder, why is that better than having private practices? I always heard from most of the people, I'm pretty sure whoever is joining us today, they must have learned this too, that working in a DSO is really aggressive. It is very tiring and all that stuff, but that's what I knew that too, right? So I asked some of them as well. This is before I even accepted any job offer. What is good? Just like, well, it's not, because you have to work hard anyway. And if you're not working hard, that basically means that you have no good clinical experience. Because as a clinician, you want to be better and better. And fresh out of school, it is the more you do in the beginning, the more you push yourself, so it just makes you better. So the reason I chose Aspen, and I'm going to be honest, I had a lot of offers before I signed my contract, from private offices, from small DSOs, like a dentist owning 3 or 5 offices and stuff like that. But I chose Aspen because I looked at the model. I really thought I could do it. And the job security is there, because in the end, all of us are in service industry. We want to be paid for our services, and no place, even other DSOs, no place really gives you that guaranteed minimum for an indefinite amount of time. So all of us think about money for sure, right? So it's not like based off of your production and stuff like that. And at Aspen, everybody is a team. So if everybody does well, everybody gets compensated according to that. That was one of the factors. There were many other things. I really, especially the office that I am at, there was a lot of restorative opportunities that we had. We had many things that we could do as a clinician. It was not, if you want a monotonous job where you go work 8 to 5 and just do prophies and fillings and prophies and fillings, that is just something that, you don't see in Aspen. You get a lot of opportunities in terms of what are the different treatments that you want to do. So it's like a wide variety of things. Having an in-house lab, that was something that I was very interested in. The denture turnout is very fast and all that stuff. So I really thought that it satisfies everything for me in terms of having a good payout, as well as having to learn everything that a clinician needs to learn and do and practice and experience. So that's why I chose Aspen. And I stayed with Aspen for over an entire year, because it is still the same. And it is absolutely true.
That's awesome. So I'm glad you touched on the pay structure, because I know that's on everybody's mind, right? And I know every DSO pays a little bit different. One of the questions that just populated right now was, how are you dealing with student debt after graduation? Also, is there any bonuses or perks for working at Aspen, like tuition reimbursement, for example? So I can answer a half of this question,
okay.
But the first half, Dr. K, how are you dealing with student debt after graduation?
Okay, so that's a very good question, and there is going to be a lot of debt. So depending on which school you are, so UIC is definitely an expensive school. I went for a 27-month program, but I still, it still was a lot, around $400,000, which is a lot, right? So everybody thinks about paying it off. In terms of bonuses and perks, absolutely. You do get a bonus. Like I said, if the office does good, everybody gets a certain percentage of production that you get on top of your daily minimum with your salary. On top of that, you get it. So the better you do as a team, the better the payout is for everybody, depending on whether or not you're an associate or an MCD. If you're MCD, your payout is definitely higher than your associate and all that stuff. So I can go in more detail. It's a little complex. The Aspen's payout model is a little different, but
I can touch on that. Dr. K. Yeah, because it gets a little confusing. So I'll let you answer your question, and then I'll answer a couple of the questions that he asked.
Sure. So definitely there is a bonus on top of the daily minimum, which is, again, I will say, which is for it's not for a limited amount of time. It is not for like 3 weeks or 4 weeks or 4 months and stuff like that. You show up at work, you get paid for it. So it's like that. In terms of tuition reimbursement and all that stuff, there are some opportunities that it comes with a perk of, like, moving cost and stuff like that. But those, I will say, it's more on the demographic on where you go. It's more for the remote areas, because you have to kind of do that. If you are looking into more city jobs, like I am very close to Chicago where I work. So obviously with my contract, it was not included. I know some people that went to more remote areas, so they had some tuition reimbursements.
Absolutely. So you basically touched on everything. That's absolutely accurate. So our pay structure is a little different, guys. We pay our clinicians a daily guarantee that does not go away. And Dr. K touched on that. That daily guarantee is going to stay with you through the lifetime of your agreement. And again, it's not a contract because you're not contractually obligated to stay with us for any specific amount of time. So when you do get offered a position with Aspen, you get a letter of agreement. And that letter of agreement will tell you, you are getting paid a specific daily guarantee. And that can range between $550, $600, depending on your location. And then we offer what's called a profit share. So you get a percentage of the profit of the office. So you get paid the greater of the two. Your daily guarantee will never go away, but you also get a profit of the whole office. And Dr. K touched on the team effort, right? So Dr. K, and the office, it's you, it's the owner, Dr. Sharma, you have a hygienist, I believe you have an endo that comes in. So you have all these people that are producing, and all of that production gets put into this honeypot, as you will. And then at the end, you get a slice of that production as your incentive. So you'll get paid the greater of the two. And Dr. K even touched on the bonuses, perks, and tuition reimbursement. The question was tuition reimbursement. Absolutely. We do have some locations that offer tuition reimbursement. Now, keep in mind, Dr. K did say, if you want to be in a metro or a city that's, we're going to have a high candidate flow, you might not get that perk, right? She lives in Chicago. She works in Skokie. It's a 20-minute drive. Whereas if you want to, take advantage of that tuition reimbursement, you might need to start looking at locations that are a little more rural, harder to fill locations where we have less candidates applying for. We have some great opportunities in those areas. $50,000 towards tuition reimbursement. I've seen over almost $200,000 towards tuition reimbursement. So if you're not married to being in the city or being in a metro area, please look into those opportunities, because those are great opportunities. So awesome. So like you said, Dr. K, they are out there, it's really demographic based. So I'm glad that we kind of segued into that, because one of the questions here is, geographically speaking, did you end up working somewhere that you wanted, and how did that work out for you?
Okay, so my journey with Aspen actually started because I actually did interview for 2 Aspen offices. The first Aspen office was in Far West, but at that time, I was not particularly looking to live in the city. I was okay to move, so that was gonna work out, but this opportunity fell in my lap, and it really works well, so I didn't have to move too far or anything with my family, because I do have like kids and everything. My husband has a job, so but we were ready to make that move, and it should always be something that somebody should look into, because the farther away you go from the city, the better the opportunity gets. So it is something that I was open with. In terms of my location or where I am right now, this is just an opportunity that opened. It is not something very easily available, like in terms of this office, particularly where I am, because that is a very, very high in demand kind of like a place.
Listen, Dr. K, you are in a very lucrative office. Everybody wants to be in that office.
Everybody wants to be in this office because it's a very, very close office. Geographically, it is very, very good location. And I just got this opportunity when I interviewed with Aspen. This opportunity was not there. This opening was not there. It just because they had a fall through somewhere. So I just luckily happened to do that. But for me, it was a little different. It was not like I live here, now I have to find a job nearby. I was open to move. But like Rebecca said, we have 900 offices throughout. And Illinois has one of the highest demands. We have so many offices that are even opening this quarter, last quarter of this year, even with COVID and stuff. That's how much demand there is. So you can definitely find something for sure wherever you're looking at.
Absolutely. So you are very lucky because opportunity fell in your lap. We have an abundance of candidates that want to be in Chicago.
I know.
Always ask for that Skokie office. So you are in a great place, and the fact that you got, you know, promoted to an MCD to the new office is fantastic, and I'm so proud of you. So one of the questions here, one question just popped up live, and I'll get to that here in a second, but I think we had talked about this earlier. If I start as an associate, how quickly can I become a managing clinical director or a lead? So tell me about your experience getting promoted from an associate to a lead.
Okay, there is a wide range of things that can happen for you in Aspen that can be a little, you know, hard to understand, but this is something that, but if you are looking for answers, there's always going to be somebody who can clear it out for you. So it's all about you wanting to know what it is. There are several different kinds of offices. There are some that are owned by a person and that person owns other. There are some that are what are those,
the large group practices.
Yeah, the large group practices. So depending on where you end up, or where is the opportunity that you're looking for, or area or anything like that, it depends on that. So for me, what happened is that the owner of my practice, she had one office where I started working. She was supposed to have another office in the first quarter of 2020, but because of COVID and everything, things were at halt. So now she's opening an office, and now I'm become MCD, but she already knew by that time that she wants to make me the MCD. So she knew that I had quality. I just didn't get that opportunity soon enough because she didn't get that opportunity. So
you're saying you could have been an MCD a long time ago.
A long time ago. Yeah. That's correct.
Okay.
And I was told that I was gonna, it's not my assumption. She told me that whenever she opens a new office, she wants me to become an MCD. So I had the skill set, I had the qualities to be an MCD, but if your practice owner has an opportunity sooner, or let's say there is an MCD that they're trying to replace, or there is an associate that they're wanting to promote to an MCD, it depends really on what opportunities open up around your circle. So that's what it depends on. In my personal experience, because I am in a very, very high demand office, I was maybe, in terms of compensation, I was maybe making as much as an associate, or maybe more than most other MCDs. So that's really, that really is dependent on where you are at. But as a general turnover from associate to MCD, I think it is somewhere between the 3 to 6 month period from what I've heard. It can be a little bit later, it can be sooner, depends all on your skill set. There is no fixed rule that if a person starts as an associate will become an MCD, but that is something entirely dependent on how good your performance is, to be very honest.
Absolutely, absolutely. And guys, the MCD role, it's not for everyone, right? I mean, if you are completely happy and you are doing a phenomenal job as an associate and you love your role, you stay at your role. The MCD role is an opportunity for you to grow, but it does take on leadership, capabilities. So if that's something that you foresee in your future, then definitely work at it. And then, like Dr. K said, there's movement. So there's new offices that are opening, there's transfers, there's a lot of movement within these offices that create these opportunities for you. So definitely an opportunity for growth, but it's not for everyone. So we do have some associates that become MCDs fairly quickly because of their skill set, or also because of the opportunity that came up. So, it can be just a very different situation for anybody, very circumstantial. So, but I definitely believe Dr. K had the capability to be an MCD a long time ago. You've been fantastic. So a question that just popped up here, Dr. K, is I'm currently a D1 at UIC. How has UIC prepared you to become a competent dentist in the real world?
Okay. Okay, listen. I will tell you.
Be honest.
Aspen, working in Aspen, definitely everybody expects you to know dentistry, but nobody expects you to be like this super person from the very beginning. Everybody has, some sort of role, like you have mentors, you have training programs, you have a lot of support in the beginning. But I'll tell you this, you have to be good to understand the Aspen model, you have to be good at multitasking. What I mean by that is that I'll tell you a little bit. I'll just touch a little bit. You always can get in touch with recruiters and stuff like that, and they always make you understand the Aspen model. But it's like a production column where you have to do all the procedures, and there is a new patient column where you're seeing the new patients, and then there is an overflow column where you see miscellaneous different things, impressions, adjustments, dental adjustments, and all like that. And mostly that is something that your assistants are trained for. So they take care of most of that. So multitasking is very important in Aspen. And I really think the day from what other people told me and gave me the feedback from the very first day that I started, they all could see that I went to a great training program. And that kind of, you know, made me be very stable in my job, because being fast, being good, being efficient, getting a good treatment plan, getting good patient acceptance and all that. So I definitely credit UIC for that, for sure. So you're fine. You don't have to worry about it, because if I made it this far, and I know a lot of my other peers that are working in Aspen and they're doing good and they're from UIC. So UIC teaches you everything. So
yeah, we've hired some great clinicians from UIC.
It's a very good school. And if you compare it to other schools within Illinois, because there are not many, you can actually see the difference. So it's a very, very good school, without any doubt.
I agree. And I would just say, you know, pay attention.
Pay attention.
You're going to learn a lot, guys. And quite frankly, you're going to learn a lot in these next 4 years. Take advantage, but also grow your network. You know, Dr. K here, you know, you went to UIC. I'm assuming you stay in contact with a lot of your classmates.
Yeah.
Yep, absolutely. So grow your network, reach out to friends, you know, share stories and things like that. So that's a great question. So another question that popped up here is, how long did it take for you to transition up your speed once you started working after dental school?
Okay, that's a great question. It really depends. I am gonna be very honest. See, I knew how to scan the room, read the room. Patient confidence is very, very important, which is something that internationally trained foreign dentists, because they've already done that in the past. They've been through the whole training program. Some of us have a lot of years of experience. I was not one of that, but some have a lot of years, many years of experience. So it is just something that they've been doing. That's why it is like that, right? But when the traditional dental program students, they come out of there, there's like, you know, a lot of hesitation, because in real world, seeing real patients in a private practice, that those patients pay a lot of money to come see you. Dentistry is not cheap. So, you know, they expect a good, confident doctor and stuff like that. So that is something that the confidence is something that you will learn as you do more and more. In terms of speed, every person is different. I cannot talk for anybody else. For me, it was not a very difficult thing to get used to, because I think I already had that. Even in dental school, I was able to get a lot of things done in a shorter amount of time. Even with dental school, you know, you have to have your teachers come in and see every step of the way and stuff like that. But I was always a little bit faster. But that's the thing. If you need help, there's always either your MCD or there's some sort of support. Even your office managers, they're so great in the beginning that, like, you know, I had a question, it was answered. So I did not have to worry about that. So you always have a mentor. So your MCD will actually guide you to it. So I would say from the speed that I have right now, and the way I work right now, it took me maybe like 2 months to get to that kind of speed. But it really depends. Now my office is also like it's a very busy office. So it really depends on how much demand you have. So you will get there.
Yeah, and honestly, Dr. K, I feel like you touched on that. You're going to have a mentor, right? Right now, guys, in dental school, you have someone to check over your work and to make sure you're doing everything properly. You have your professors or your clinicians that come in. With Aspen, you have a mentor. So can you touch a little bit on what your onboarding experience was and what your mentorship looked like?
Sure. So, like for me, it was a little different than other offices. So I can't speak for anybody else. For me, it was a special kind of a situation where my mentor or my MCD in the office, in the field, was also the owner of the practice. So she was there. I learned like a lot of stuff from her directly right there. So it was like that. And from onboarding, it's a little hazy because it was a long time ago and it was a different way of onboarding because things were still not virtual and stuff like that. There is a whole team that you see on the onboarding day. And I think they're still doing it virtually, from everybody from Dr. Judge, who's the head of clinical affairs, I think him, and then all the districts, then the district vice president and territory director and directors and recruiters and head hygienists. And there's so many people and it's such a big support. You need anything, then your regional manager is somebody that comes and visits your office every few, at least a few times in a month. So the support system is great in terms of whatever you want to learn. You want to learn the matrix system, the payout, answers for that. Dentistry is something that you are expected to know because you went to school for that. Nobody is going to come and check your crown preps, right? But they just help you develop a good patient satisfaction and help you be a better clinician. So that's what your mentors do. They make you move from one room to another and multitask, and they show you exactly what, so you can shadow them. Actually, when you start with Aspen, you're supposed to shadow them and see and how your MCD or other associates are working. So you actually learn a lot of that from them. Everybody develops their own style of practice, but at least you know how Aspen model works. So there is no confusion there. And if there are people to help you out with that.
Absolutely. So you touched on something that I wanted to talk about really quick, guys. The support system at Aspen is very grand. We are a dental service organization, so we are here to support our clinicians. So there's a huge support system that starts with, your office. So you have 2 DAs per doc, I would say, or 3?
3.
So you have 3 dental assistants. From there, you have your whole office staff. So you have your patient service, representative, you have your office managers, you have your consultant manager, then you have your regional manager, then you have your director. So you have all of these layers of support to help you. And then you have a dedicated mentor to help guide you through the process. So when you guys start with us as new grads, you get a 4-week training onboarding experience where you're basically learning the Aspen model. Now, Dr. K said, you know dentistry already. You're coming out knowing how to do dental. But we want you to learn the model. We want you to learn to be comfortable in the office. We want you to learn, like she said, how to multitask. So you do have a mentor that will work with you to make sure that you are getting up to speed and that you are doing everything that you feel comfortable doing as well. Dr. K, you would say you have full autonomy over all of your cases, correct?
Correct.
Okay. Okay, great. So one question. How advanced is technology at the new Aspen practices, like equipment and software, etc.?
I am so glad you asked this question because I cannot be more proud of the technology that we have. If you go and even see an Aspen office, you will be amazed for the technology that is there. So let me talk about the software. Software is Aspen's own software, the EPMS. It's very straightforward. Making appointments, seeing everything is very, very straightforward. So that is not something anybody should ever worry about. In terms of Aspen, especially new offices, every office is equipped with an iTero scanner. So every patient that has teeth, even partially dentate patients, they get a scan, oral health scan, which is something that we don't charge our patients for. We do an oral health scan for them, and we do that for every recall. So if they see it, they believe it. It is the best tool that you can use for educational
I
purposes.
love that slogan. If they see it, they believe it.
They believe it. That is something that I
Brilliant.
love. And as soon as I get into the room to see new patients, especially, the first thing I do is there is an iTero scanner. I look at it and I look at it with them. So they see where the stainings, where's the calculus, where are the cavities, they see it all. So that is a beautiful, beautiful tool that we have. All new Aspen offices have it. The ones that didn't have their already are really good at doing that. We use it for implant, planning. We use it for partial. Our partials are all digital now. Our crowns are digital. I take impressions for partial in it. I take impressions for crowns and ridges. I do Invisalign and everything in that. So that is something that we have. All Aspen has some sort of ortho in it. So we do Invisalign. We have such a great team for Invisalign support system too. So as a general dentist, you will be very, very confident to do Invisalign because of all these amazing tools that we have. There's obviously panoramic machine in there. There is a CBCT machine in every single Aspen. So you want to take a CBCT, every Aspen, new Aspen especially has it, okay? So that is something that was told to me. So the ones that don't have it, at least they have a great referral system within this within the Aspen. So if we get other offices that are close to us, the patients come, they get the CBCT. There is the file transfer, everything is shared within the entire Aspen. There is no complication. It is convenient for patients. It is convenient for the doctors. So it is great. It is great. In terms of technology, it's very high tech, very, very difficult to see it anywhere else. So
absolutely. Now, would you say we've moved into digital dentistry in all of our offices?
Yeah, whichever ones have iTero scanner, yes, we have that. Our labs are great, and they do a great job at creating those partials and all the prostheses that we use.
Awesome. So for those of you folks, really quick, she touched on this earlier, but we at Aspen Dental have all our own labs that produce our dentures for us. So Dr. K, do you remember how long it would take to turn around a denture when you were in dental school?
Oh, months? I don't know. Never mind.
I've heard like 3 months, 2 months, 3 months.
It can take a long, long time.
Okay, so what's the turnaround now with our dentures in-house?
Sometimes 24 hours.
Wow.
Within the same day, not 24 hours, like less. I've seen a patient in the morning and I've delivered denture end of the day. That's also happened.
That's phenomenal. That is phenomenal. I was thinking you were going to say like a week, and I mean, I'll take it, but 24 hours is fantastic.
Depending on what kind of denture it is, like immediate. So let's say a patient comes in pain, they need a full mouth extraction. We take impression in the morning. In the end of the day, we're able to extract and deliver same day. Now, there are different grades of dentures. If there's like a other denture that we're doing, like a Company Light or something like that, which is an IVO-based heat injected one. So those are advanced. In my office, we've been able to turn it over in less than 3 days.
That's phenomenal.
Yeah.
You guys are killing it. That's awesome.
Yeah.
Do you guys have one tech or two?
We have only one tech.
Okay. Well, yeah. that tech's working at overdrive.
She is unbelievable. She never has to work overtime or anything. But that's how she works.
That's just how good she is. That is so awesome.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. So yeah, guys, I mean, I'm pretty sure a lot of you think, wow, you know, I hear Aspen does a lot of dentures because that's one of the questions is does Aspen do only dentures? It's not that we only do dentures, it's that we have a lab that cranks them out and that does such a phenomenal job in-house that we're able to accommodate so many patients that are denture patients, right?
Right.
Yeah, absolutely.
It really helps.
Absolutely. Okay, so we have a live question here. Dr. K, how many patients do you see on average during a day? And who creates your treatment plans for the new patients?
Okay, so in terms of how many patients we Nancy, it is entirely dependent on the demographic and which office you're at and what is the demand. You don't want to know how many patients I see in my office because that is crazy. We do have 2 doctors and 2 hygienists, and like we have a big staff because the demand is really high in our area. So we're able to do that. We see on average more than 50 patients, sometimes 50 patients a day, but that is like including hygiene, which is by 2 different hygienists, 2 doctors, and there's overflow. We have 7 assistants. So that's like that. But on average, you can imagine maybe 7 to 8 patients in production chair. New patients should be on average like about 5, 6, 7 new patients per day. It should be a healthy, because new patients they make or break the practice. So it's in a healthy practice, you see on average 7 or more patients per day. And then the overflow is just miscellaneous little things. It's not procedures. It's like denture deliveries and impressions and stuff like that. So those all include within the full number of patients. It is not like, I understand it's coming from the perspective like what a private practice looks like. It is not a private practice, or even other DSOs. I've seen the schedules in other DSOs as well. It is not like that. We see more patients, but we have that kind of clinical support. We are not by ourselves. It is not like I'm seeing 1 new patient and that's all I'm doing, and then I'm moving into my fillings, and it's not like that. So the schedule is going to look really different, but it is very doable because you have a lot of support. And in terms of who makes your treatment plan, you are the doctor, you prescribe treatment. So I don't understand what you mean. If you can touch more, if you can ask that question in detail, what do you mean by creating a treatment plan?
Maybe I'm thinking, Doc, when you first started, were you working your own treatment plans, or were you working Dr. Sharma's? When you were doing your mentorship, when did you jump on and start creating all of your own? Was there ever a time where you were working on her treatment planning, or did you start doing your own treatment planning straight out the gate when you first started? Maybe that's what they're asking, since
I'm not sure. I mean, because in my office, again, I will say it was a very different scenario. And when I started, Dr. Sharma was by herself. So I was her only associate at that time. So I really caught up to pace really fast because I wanted to do it. I didn't want to take it easy. I just wanted to work because I'm just used to it. So I started creating my own treatment plans and stuff like that. But when a patient walks into the office, any doctor can see the production. It's not like if it's her column, only she sees the patient, it's my column. In some offices, maybe it is like that because there's an MCD column and there's an associate column, and then these things can be limited. But between Dr. Sharma and I, we have a very good work relationship. So she sees a lot of the patients that I have treatment planned, and I see a lot of the patients that she has treatment planned, so that we have some flexibility, so that not I have to be every day in the office or she has to be. It's like that. But in our office, it's not like that. In many offices, it is like that there is a MCD column and there is a associate column. And if they have this kind of system where if you have created the plan, you complete all the treatment in there. But then I will again say it does not depend on the total production, because if you're worried about the payout is going to be the same. So even if you work the MCD column or associate column, you get the payout, the profit share from entire office profit, and you get your daily minimum. So it's not like if you have created a certain amount of production, you get 40% of that. It is not like that. The model for payout is different, if that is what you're asking. So.
I'm glad you touched on that. So I'll add to that. But really quick, guys, when you're first out of dental school, now Dr. K had a leg up because she did the international program and she was already a trained dentist. So you came with experience. Now, as a dental student, that you're coming out with, no previous dental experience, just your dental school experience. A lot of times you'll work hand in hand with your mentor and you'll work alongside their cases, you know, whatever they're planning, and then you take on, you basically start whenever you feel like you're ready. So I kind of heard that that's the case with a lot of different offices. So it just really depends on your growth and how comfortable and confident you feel. But yeah, your cases, your production, as soon as you're ready to go, you're ready to go. Now, you did mention, again, I know we talked about this earlier, guys, with your pay. I did work for a DSO where you got paid 30% of your production, right? And Dr. K, I'm sure that you've seen offer letters that have a very interesting pay structure. So you get paid a daily guarantee, or 30% of production, or 40% of collection, or whatever the case is. So that means you're getting paid on your own personal procedures and cases. Now, as a new dentist or as a new grad, that might be a little daunting because you're just starting. So you might not be doing difficult cases and things like that, right? So what Dr. K said is it doesn't really matter who's doing the procedures. An MCD or an owner wants the new grads to do the procedures at Aspen because we want you to get better and to get practice. And, you know, that's just going to make the office better. So if you are doing the procedures, or the MCD's doing the procedures, or the owner, at the end of the day, all the production gets put into that one pot, and then you guys all get paid from it. So there's never going to be a lead dentist that's going to be taking harder procedures, right, Dr. K? I mean, you guys kind of split the work depending on who has that column for the day.
Yeah, and depending on what your clinical abilities are, what your skill set is. Luckily, like Dr. Sharma and I found each other, and we both have very similar way of practice. We do a lot of, let's say, impacted molars or something like that, like impacted third molars, which is something that most of the people refer out, but we do it. So even if it's a referral for oral surgeon, we have the ability to do it. So I do it, right? If I told her that this is beyond the scope of my practice, I do not think that I can do it. She was not ever gonna force me to do it. That is not something, but she would be like, okay, I will do it. Then it is something that she would keep it just for herself rather than having me. But if I'm ready, comfortable, okay to do it, which I did try. Not necessarily I got that experience in school, but I was able to get that in my private practice even. She came in, she would be there just like, okay, you need me, let me know, I am here. So that kind of support was always there, and it just made me so the procedures that I'm doing right now, I would have never thought in dental school that I will be ever able to do something like that. So that is something that, you know, absolutely helped out. So basically MCD is very much of a leader. So they handle a lot of different things. In terms of more of procedures or difficult procedures, it's not about difficult or what, it's more about like what kind of procedure or how much you want to do. Definitely Associate and MCD have that kind of relationship. They try to do most of that first. But if it's something that you're not comfortable, you can absolutely say that. Then they're not going to force you to do it.
Absolutely. Guys, at the end of the day, it's your license, right?
Right.
What you feel confident and comfortable doing. Aspen Dental Management will never tell you what to do. You guys are the clinicians. You guys work hand in hand with the owners, the MCDs. If there's ever a procedure that you say, hey, I need more practice on this, or hey, I don't feel comfortable doing this, then your MCD will take it, or the owner will take, the office owner will take it. So always know that you have full autonomy, but you also can easily say that's out of my realm, or that's, you know, a little bit too difficult for me. But like Dr. K said, a lot of times your owner or MCD might say, hey, how about you try it and I'll be here just in case. But you need to get to practice, right? I think you said that Dr. Sharma would say, hey, you do it and I'll stand back just in case you need me.
Right.
Awesome. Okay, so moving on, guys, we have quite a few questions left and we have 10 more minutes. You guys have been fantastic. There's been so many questions. So one of the questions that popped up was, I know you mentioned Aspen builds practices from scratch, but would it be possible to open a practice in a high-rise in downtown Chicago or any major metro city? I'll take this one really quick, Dr. K. So guys, Aspen Dental, we work with a very specific demographic, I would think you would say, right, Dr. K?
Yes.
We don't necessarily open in downtown areas because the procedures, the patients that we're seeing tend to be a little bit more blue collar. So I'm not saying that's out of the scope. I mean, I believe we're opening an office in the South Loop.
We are. That's correct.
So I'm not saying that that's completely out of the question, but we tend to open just slightly outside of the metro areas. So Chicago, we have an office in Skokie, right? Or we have an office in Crestwood. We have offices usually 20, 30 minutes outside of the city and then further out because we see that that's where the need is. We see that's where the patients are that have a higher need. With places like downtown Chicago, they're probably saturated with offices. So yeah, so we're going to tend to open in places where we are going to see that we have a higher demand and a more of a need from the patient base that we work with. But again, we are opening in the South Loop, which is insane and awesome at the same time. So anything can change. Dentistry is changing every single day, so you never know. I hope that answered that question. Now, another question is a good one. Does Aspen Dental help with advancing the skills like molar endo, implant placement, etc.?
Absolutely. Absolutely. We have webinars. We have things like that. We have physical classes, which unfortunately is on hold right now because of COVID. But we have a whole learning and development module that we have. And in Chicago, especially in Illinois, we have a practice support center, which has big auditoriums and classrooms where they teach all different sorts of, people with different roles and stuff like that. For dentists, they have great implant in itself is a whole thing in Aspen. I just finished my my training. They are starting a physical training for implant placement as well. So you are if you are interested in learning, Aspen has great, I think best CE, continued education program. There is nothing that they don't teach. Absolutely. Molar endo, there's endo continuum as well, and all these people that teach you with that, and especially implant, because offices have CBCT machines and that, so how can you go wrong? I mean, there is everything available for you to do in terms of planning and presenting implant cases and, placing implants and stuff like that. And also, if you want to do molar endos and stuff like that, for sure. Good thing with Aspen is that they have a specialty. They have endodontists. So a lot of times you don't have to worry about it, because I understand as a general dentist, molar endo is very time consuming and very much. And then if you're paralleling other procedures along with it or other things along with it, it can be stressful. So some offices who have endodontics in it, then you don't have to worry about it. You don't have to refer it out. You have an endodontist coming into your office. But if you are interested in learning, yes, they have all these different things and more. There's a whole Invisalign team there. There is a whole implant team there. The more you want to learn, you can. Absolutely.
Absolutely, guys. We have a huge library of free CE credits, and we're actually offering that to any of our dental professionals out there. So students, if you're interested in taking some CE courses, they're all certified CE classes. We actually have an online portal where you can log in, and those are free through March 2021. That was an awesome initiative that my director, Joel, worked alongside with Murph, our VP, to allow, especially during COVID, right? A lot of students were out of school and a lot of offices had closed. So we did this awesome initiative to allow any dental professional to jump on and take as many CE courses that you want. So those are all free. We have an awesome CE library available. But like Dr. K said, we kind of go through these initiatives, right? We did the Invisalign initiative. So we got iTero scanners for everyone. We trained all of our doctors. And now we're doing so well with Invisalign in all of our offices. And now we're pushing implants. So Dr. K, you just did your implants training. We have a huge, basically a doctor development department that works endlessly to get all these great CE courses up and running. We have a huge downtown office that is dedicated to learning and development, where we host a lot of these classes that hopefully you'll be able to attend, Dr. K, in person. I know that COVID's kind of changed a lot of things, but we are hoping that, when things kind of go back to normal, that, a lot of these classes start back up in person. But in the meantime, you're still able to take a lot of these classes through that portal.
And get fees for that.
Yes, absolutely. So I know a lot of other DSOs, guys. Again, I work for another DSO in my past life. I have a lot of colleagues that will work for other DSOs too. They will say, this DSO only offers $1,000 per year towards CE credits, or $1,500 towards CE credits, or they'll reimburse you up to $500. Our online CE portal is free. And there's hundreds and thousands of classes on there. I think one of my doctors once said, there's more classes, there's more Cs than you'll ever need to take in your lifetime as a dentist on there. So take advantage of those, guys. I'll send you an email with that login information so you can definitely jump on. Okay, we have a new question that popped in, Dr. K. Would you be able to walk through additional perks like paid leave, sick leave, etc.? So I can answer that really quick, guys. We have an awesome benefits package that offers typically, 2 weeks paid time off. You get 401k, you get dental, you get vision, you get sick time. I mean, we have a full HR team. We have a full benefits pack. Dr. K, did you negotiate anything interesting in your offer or anything, or was it pretty standard with your benefits?
It was pretty standard with my benefits, but
what do you get? What does your benefits look like?
Same thing. I have now that, it really depends. So depending on when you have your licensing through and when you actually start, or what point in time you start, it has to be, I think you need to, in order for you to accrue that, you have to be working 6 months, if I'm not wrong, like it's something like that.
I think they kick in after 90 days or something.
90 days. Yeah, so it's something like that. So you have to do that. In terms of paid vacation time, yes, you get like 80 hours, which is like 2 weeks of paid time. There are some sick days too. I'm not sure how much that is. And everything that you talked about, yes, everything is in there. I did not negotiate anything interesting in there or anything unusual, but I think there are different associates that were able to, and you can. So it's like that. Absolutely.
Guys, we have a standard benefit pack, right? But like Dr. K said earlier, all of our offices are individually owned. So you work alongside your owner, and your owner owns that office. So you can have a conversation with them and then, see, hey, can I get this, or can I trade in this, or can I get more time off? I mean, that's a conversation that you can always have with your owner. But the standard typically is 2 weeks paid time off, along with, I want to say, a couple sick days. You can't quote me on that. I can get the answer for you though. If you are interested, I can shoot me a message and then I'll get that for you from our HR. But we have time probably for one more question. I still have quite a few that we didn't get through, guys. So if there's anything that you still are interested in learning about, you can shoot me a message and I can send them over to Dr. K. But there's quite a few here that we still haven't gone through. So let me find a good one. Actually, really quick, we talked about specialty. I know that your office, Dr. K, do you have specialty in your office?
I do, yes.
Okay.
We have endo and OS, both. So for OS, we mainly keep the sedation cases. So like, that is more of like that. So the oral surgeon comes once a month and they do mainly just sedation cases. There's barely anything else that they do. Maybe they see their own patients for a follow-up or something on the side, but it's mainly the sedation cases. So we don't have to even refer those out. So we have the ability to see those patients as well. And the other specialty we have is endo. So our endodontist actually in our office, the endodontist actually comes once a week, so which is more than many, because that's how much demand we have. So she comes once a week. So all the molar endos, actually apicoectomy and all these things which are so advanced, and a lot of people have to, you know, refer them out for retreats and stuff like that. We can all see those patients in our office, so we don't have to refer anything out.
Awesome. So we do have specialty. We have oral surgeons and we have endodontists. So some offices are super busy and have both. It just really depends on your demand. But we also encourage that our offices have really good relationships with the surrounding offices, and you refer cases out if you need to. But the great thing that with Dr. K's specific office is that everything stays in-house, and then you also profit off of all those cases. So it's kind of a bit of a bonus for you guys, right?
Yeah. The only other thing that you might have to refer out would be maybe like a pedodontist for like really young kids, and we don't have like nitrous and stuff like that. So for them, you can refer them out. So we don't, within Aspen, entire Aspen, we don't have, the only two specialties we have is endo and OS, and not all offices have them. Some will have one instead of two, some will have both depending on the demand. But perio and endo and all, perio and pedodontics and all that, you might have to refer out if need be. Not always, but that's what it is.
Awesome. Awesome. Well, our time is up, Dr. K.
Okay.
We had some really good questions, guys. Thank you so much for jumping on. This was an awesome experience with Dr. K. You've been fantastic. I'm going to send you guys all an email with those CE courses so you guys can take advantage of those. Those are free until March 2021. So please take advantage of those. If there's any questions that you guys didn't get a chance to ask, or I didn't get a chance to answer from the list that I have, please shoot me a message, and then I can get Dr. K, you know, to give us some feedback and to answer those for you. But I think that's it. Thank you so much, Dr. K, for being with us.
Of course.
It's been fantastic. I'm going to have to come in soon because I think I still need to get my whitening after my Invisalign. I'm done with my Invisalign.
Oh, great.
Yes. Yes. So super exciting. For everyone else, guys, thank you so much for tuning in. Have a great night.
Okay.
Thanks. I'll see you soon.
No problem. See ya.
Here. Bye, guys.